Assam is blessed by the bounties of nature. Its magnificent hills are amply complemented by undulating lush green plains, dense forests, and expansive clearings, and dales and valleys through which myriad rivulets and streams of Assam crisscross to the mighty Brahmaputra, which symbolizes the lifeline of the people residing alongside.
Tezere Komolapati Parabate Ninda, Terisanda Mukopiho, Uttara Govinda, Renu Bidurdik Tawalibaran, Timir Feria Bas Ravir Kiran.
The Brahmaputra and the hundreds of water bodies and tributaries that it carries so large-heartedly within its breast foster a palpable world of lived experience, the joy and the ecstasy of shared love and communion, the pang and the pathos of separation and of loss. Indeed, the Brahmaputra is witness to the cycle of creation and consummation and death, of rebirth and regeneration, of hope and disillusionment, and of renewal. Nature, in the land of the rising sun, beckons its people, arouses the deepest passions and engages them in the essentially procreative community life. That is why the rhythms in the cycle of the nature's seasons stir the rhythms in the hearts and souls of the people of Assam. These rhythms lend themselves artistic expressions through the fairs and festivals, through the songs and dances, through the customs and rituals that the people mark the rites of passage in the cycles of personal and community life. In all these cultural activities, the music plays a key role, a role that gets played through the high and low of the drama that life offers to an individual and the community as a whole. In fact, music is an inseparable element in the organically harmonious life of the people of Assam, a deep underlying force that makes the business of living and the experience of going through the vicissitudes of life more poignant and meaningful. Music indeed defines the deeply symbiotic relationship of man and nature in the community life of Assam. Music is so deeply etched in the collective consciousness of the people that it has formed layers of traditions around it. There are beaten tracks in the world of music, trodden ways which are time-tested and time immemorial. New generations of participants from among the people of Assam draw on the collective memory of these musical traditions and add new spin to the already enriched treasures of musical expressions. Traditional music in Assam is rooted to the ground. A predominantly agricultural livelihood allows majority of the people here to experiment and innovate their pursuit of music through easily available natural resources. Therefore, musical instruments made out of these natural resources play a vital role in the shape and form of music in Assam. The natural rhythms of spontaneity and drama of life is so beautifully captured and projected by the musical instruments that we cannot conceive of Assamese traditional music without these musical instruments. Assam has a rich legacy of the traditional musical instruments. It has a staggering range of instruments of different kinds, each having its own unique feature and function. And then again, Assam is a land of diverse ethnic and linguist groups, each one possessing its own array of traditional musical traditions. Therefore, when one approaches traditional musical instruments of Assam, one needs to focus on two counts. Firstly, to present the bewildering range of the musical instruments by way of a classification, and secondly, to showcase the rich heritage of traditional musical instruments belonging to major ethnic and linguistic groups or communities.
Assam has a rich legacy of traditional musical instrument, and judging from the range of these musical instruments, these instruments may be categorized, of course, according to Indian classical classification, that is in four: string, wind, metal, leather. But in Assam, these musical instruments were used in two types of performance. One was associated with the lifestyle of the people, that is folk musical instruments. And in traditional musical instruments, these were for amusement, other things also. So, from these 2 points of view, though these like drums and other some wind musical instruments, these instruments can be classified broadly into 4 classes, that is Tata, Ghana, Shishira and Avanadha.
Hare Narayan Giri Govardhana Dhari Tomar Sarane
There is another popular string instrument that is lautokari. It was made of red gourd and string was attached to that gourd, and with the help of two bamboo clamps the sounds were made. So this type of instruments is already with the boragis and the other mendicants.
Narayan Giri Govardhana Dhari Tomar Sarane Man Bhaja.
Another important instrument still in use among the Boro communities, that is serja. Serja is also a string instrument which has strings and it is played with the help of bow. But all the musical instruments is replaced by the acoustic, that is the electronic sound, electronic instruments, and with the advent of like keyboard. In keyboard every musical sounds may be created. So in most of the folk or tribal songs and dances, these musicians are inclined to play that type of electronic instruments, and these instruments, traditional instruments and folk instruments, are almost in the verge of extinct. Another susiro or wind category of musical instruments, we may mention pepa at the very outset. Pepa is played with the bihu songs and dance. So pepa is made of buffalo horn. From the pepa, a musician can create different type of sounds, and with that sounds, that gestures of the dancers, they create their gestures of the dancers. With the sound of pepa, variation of sound, these dances are also changed.
The kali is a pepa-like instrument, but its flexibility in producing musical notes is greater than the pepa. However, the kali has lost its prominence now, and its use is restricted to the dhulia performances in marriages in individual homes. The kali is also known as the shanai in the Gwalpara region and is used in marriages to a great extent. The flute is indisputably the most common and the most popular wind instrument in Assam, as it enjoys an elevated status in the popular imagination because of the fact that this instrument is associated with Lord Krishna, and therefore in the predominantly Vaishnavite culture of mainstream Assam, the Bahi becomes an integrated symbol of divine music. Interestingly, however, the flute happens to be the most popular instrument in the folk culture of almost all the ethnic tribes. The Boros call it sifung, and as a symbol of cultural identity, it enjoys a central place of eminence in the Boro society. Of the percussion instruments, the dhol is the most common folk instrument. Dhol beats are essential to a bihu performance. The complex rhythmic patterns that the seo or beats of a classy dhol performance creates can offer subliminal experience in the minds of the audience. The dhol is mainly performed in the Upper Assam region, But it has rapidly gained access in the lower Assam region also. As a tradition, the Lower Assam region does not have a legacy of the dhol, but the Oja Pali performers in the Kamrup and Dorong districts are known to have integrated the dhol into the Oja Pali institution.
Dhol has different types, of course. It is also used by almost all the ethnic groups of Assam, but this most prominent of this type of instrument is Bihu Dhol. So Bihu Dhol is used in Upper Assam, and nowadays it is used almost everywhere in Assam. So that beat of the dhol, the dancers, they used to dance, and according to the type and that is use of dhol, it has different names also. In Bihu Dhol, it is known as Bihu Dhol. There are some other types of dhol also in the Lower Assam, particularly Kamrup and Dorang districts. These are used in the festivals, marriage and other things. These are Bor Dhol, Pati Dhol, or this type of dhols they use. One of the most peculiar form of drum in Assam is known as Dhepa Dhol. This is a unique type of musical instrument in Assam, not only but India also. It has two layers of leather screen, and between these two layers water is poured, and with the help of that water a peculiar beat, a peculiar sound is created. That's why it is known as Dhepa Dhol. And with the name of this Dhepa Dhol, there is a particular group of performers who are known as Dhepa Dhulia. They play this dhol in marriage and festivals, and they also play drama also among this, on the help of this dhol or Dhepa Dhol.
The khol is another major instrument in the percussion category. Legend has it that Sri Hankardev, the great Vaishnavite reformist and spiritual leader of Assam, made the khol with his own hands so as to make it the musical accompaniment in the performance of the spiritual songs or borgit that he and his disciple Sri Madhav Dev composed. Later on, apart from its use in the Borgit, the khol began to be used in Onkia Nats and other dramatic performances. Khol is capable of producing complex rhythmic patterns and has a great flexibility in creating subtle and improvised notes. Whereas the dhol and mridanga are made of wood, khol is specifically made of clay. Because of its spiritual connections, the khol is the most preferred instrument in the hotros and the namghors of Assam. Along with the khol, the doba or the drum is another instrument which has a unique place of respect among the people. There are some minor instruments which have been part and parcel of the culture of Assam, and these are the dogor or the khonchari. The dogor has a very important role to play in the performance of the Kamrupia Lukogit. The nagara is yet another instrument that enjoys popularity in the minds of the people of Assam. In the performance of Nam, that is devotional songs, the nagara is indispensable.
Another important category of musical instruments is ghanabadda or metal instruments. Within this ghanabadda category, tal is the most prominent one. So in various musical performance, tal is used. In the satras, tal is used. In the temple style is used. Then in the performing artists, folk performance and traditional performing artists, they also use tal.
Assam has a rich tradition in terms of the metal instruments or ghanabadya. Out of the many metal instruments, the most essential are the tal. There are many variants of the tal in Assam. The biggest of these tals is the bhurtal. It is believed to be borrowed from neighboring Bhutan and hence the name bhuttal or bhurtal. Bhurtal plays a key role in the prahanga or daily rounds of prayer service in the Hotra institution. Another tal that is used in the Borgit performance is the Pait tal or Kerengi tal. This variant of the tal is light to handle and makes a kereng-like sound, and therefore it is called Kerengi tal. The Khuti tal is another variant of the tal which is mostly used in the Ojapali performances. Apart from these frequently used instruments in the tal category, the ka, both borka and the horuka, is essential in cultural terms.
So there are some musical instruments in Assam which cannot be included in any of these four categories, as Tata, Ghana, Susira or Avanadha. One is that is Gogana, which is known as Jewish harps. Jewish harp is cotton string or silk string. Gagana is used, and there is metal string also. Gagana is, the sound is created in Gagana. But if we think, we may place Gagana in the string instruments. Though the wind is not used there, even that ghana, but like ghana, we don't use the metal like that is hitting the metal, we don't create it. Only vibration we create, so it may be included in the, to me, it may be included in the, if we don't take any rigid classification, we may place gogana in the, that is string instrument, sushiro. Then the other is, toka is another type of traditional music or folk musical instrument which is used in the bihu dance and songs. So toka is also made of bamboo, two strips of bamboo. Hitting these strips, this musical sound is created. So toka, as it is not made of metal, we can't call it a metal musical instrument. But according to use, except the metallic material used in this instrument, the nature of performance, the nature of sound produced by it, it may be included in the ghana badda, that is metal instrument.
The gogona is one such instrument which looks like a wind instrument but behaves more like a string instrument. It has to be blown, but the musical patterns are created by the strings of bamboo or metal. Similarly, the toka is made of bamboo, but it is used as a percussion instrument to keep the beat. Whatever may be the orientation of these instruments in the theoretical terms, it must be stressed that they have a significant role to play in the production of music in the folk traditions in Assam.